I'll press that button. Welcome back to Where Clarets Walk. It's episode 26. How are you doing? We are live this evening for a little bit of a change. So if you're listening to this, watching it back, thank you very much for joining us. If you're watching us live, do drop us a comment. Of course, this week we are talking about the Leeds result and following the comments all over social media following Monday night's game as you put the nation to sleep. Are Burnley the most boring side that have ever existed in Championship history? And do Burnley fans care even if you are? We're talking to this, guys. What do we learn from that Leeds result? The transfer window's closing on Monday. What needs to happen for the Clarets? And we are looking back at the worst ever defensive line for Burnley. We have got the full team back. Connor, Dan and Jordan are back with us. Thank you very much for all your comments last week. Tons and tons of them. We'll get to speak about some of them in a second. Let's talk about the main headline then. We'll start with you, Connor. Are Burnley the most boring side that ever existed in the Championship?
I wouldn't put it past us, but to be fair, you've got to look at the defensive side of things. If you're expecting a good defensive performance, it's not really going to be the most glamorous bit of football in the world, but you could make an argument for it.
Let's have a look at some of the tweets, shall we? Josh here says, "You're the most boring club in the planet. I actually feel sorry for your fans, if I'm honest. It's pathetic setting up like that against Leeds. I'm praying every day you don't get promoted and score 13 goals next season." Harry says, "You're the most boring club in the league." Adam says, "Imagine you have to watch this every week." Kai says, "F me, this is the most boring game I've ever watched." Andy says, "I thought Burnley under Dyche were torture to watch, but F me, no wonder Parker was booted out so soon at Bruges." And Banner says, "Imagine being third and parking the bus at home instead of trying to win the game. Could never be my team." Now, these are not Burnley fans, you'll all be pleased to hear. But, Jordan, have they got a point?
Well, none of them are Burnley fans, so if they're not Sheffield or Leeds, they can't have no room to talk, really. If we're going to talk about boring teams, Jesus, let's talk about Plymouth. I couldn't go and get stuffed by Championship teams 5-6-0 every week. No, we're not the most boring team. There has been thousands of boring teams in the Championship over the years. I think if you take away a lot of it, the tactical prowess of such a good defensive side. If you are that, if you're a chess player, maybe something you'd enjoy.
Come on, though, Dan. I'm not having this. I'm going to stick my neck out here for the rest of the Championship and for the sake of entertainment. I mean, you could have, if you'd have pushed the boat out and had a go at Leeds. You know, they're not the best defensively, and you could not be sitting in third here. You could be proper having a go at winning this thing. Why didn't you do that?
Because I think there's a little bit of this kudos with this defensive record, this not conceding. They wanted to maintain that, but you know. Let's have it right. We are third in the league. We've played the top 7 almost twice, and we've got some good results. You know, most boring team in league just went and stuffed Plymouth 5-0, taking points off Leeds, beat Leeds away, beat Sheffield United at home. First team to do that this season. First team to do that since 1843 or something, if you believe what Sheffield United fans are saying. You know, this is a boring team. I hate boring football that just happens to go and beat all those around us. We've only lost 2 all season. I love boring football. Absolute tosh. Let's go and play fancy football and get stuffed every week like we did last year. Nonsense. I appreciate what people are saying. I get it. You know, they want to be entertained. You pay your money, you go on. Don't get me wrong, the Leeds game was a cure for insomnia. I'll agree with that. But no, we're not the most boring team in the league. We are a regimented, structured team who play restrictive football and then score on breaks. And then when we've got the ability and the fluidity to do so, we go and hammer someone 5-0 in 45 minutes. Tosh.
Here.
Good evening if you're watching us live. Good evening, Dominic. Thanks for coming. Hope you do well. If you're joining us, we're talking about whether Burnley should be a bit more expansive. Connor, I mean, the Leeds fans were saying, well, no wonder you've only conceded 9 goals when actually you never have a go at goal. How do you react to that? I mean, if you do go up, does it bother you that you're going to go up known to being the most desperate brand of football that's ever been seen?
Well, I mean, if we go up like that, at least we have the reputation of we have a good defence. But like Dan said, I'm not arsed. As long as we get the result and we get promoted and we stay up, whatever, I don't mind. Let's get 10 men behind the ball. Go on, let's have it then.
Okay. As Dan says, it was the most difficult fixture you've got left of your run now, and actually your home run, Jordan, as we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, is now pretty favourable. Do you think now then we're going to see the shackles off a little bit and just go hell for leather and just wrap this league up by Easter?
Sorry, did you say got health? What is Scotty P left? No, I can't. I can't. I think he's seen it. He's onto I nearly said a winning formula. Well, a formula that works. I can't see why he'd want to change it. We've said I don't know how many times. Let's drop Fleming back. Let's get Foster in his position. Let's do this. Let's do that. Nothing changes. So if nothing's going to change now, I don't see what difference it's going to make for the next 3 months. But I'm taking a lot of solace in this defensive record. I mean, and I know, and I'm getting stick off my own mates for it, but that is amazing. How's everybody just overlooking this? Like, everyone's saying, "Oh, we were boring." Well, Leeds were no better. They didn't score. They had 1 shot on target. Do you know what I mean? They weren't much better than ourselves. So they're the second most boring team in the league. I beg to differ. But this, we've conceded 9 goals in 28 games. Is it? That's something to behold. I don't care what league you're in. You could be in Ismaithian First League. If you've only conceded 9 goals in 20 odd games, that's impressive.
I'm not winning this argument, am I? So I will quit while I'm ahead. What else did we learn from the Leeds game, Dan? What did we learn about? I say what you as an attacking prowess, but we didn't see much of it. But what did we learn about individual players, some of the new players, the substitutions?
Probably not an awful lot more than what we already knew. We were a solid team. I thought Cullen, for me, impressed quite a lot. I know he's an older head, but he's come under a lot of criticism earlier on in the season for not being very good. I thought he played very, very well. As regards to some of the newer players who seem to be settling in, Fleming, unfortunately, I'm frustrated with him because he played so well against Plymouth and then had a very off game. He's kind of hung out to dry a bit because he's up front on his own, and Foster didn't have a very good game. He's coming back. His argument is he playing out of position and what have you. But can any Burnley fan, hand on heart, said that all of our players had the best game that they had on Monday night? No, we didn't. We didn't play very well. And the best team in the league could not lay a glove on us at 1 shot. So whether we exhausted ourselves on Wednesday or not, I'm not sure. We just seemed a bit off it. Passes were going astray. Brownhill was just oofing it wherever he felt like it. I'm sorry, I know I go on about him. I promised I'd stop. So, yeah, there was a lot of misplaced passes. It was a nervy game, and it felt like they were pretty much set up for we can't lose this rather than we must win. And that's how it played out, and it was a boring game. So we didn't learn an awful lot more than what we already know. But what I do think is that we know we can play better than that. And that was, again, top of the league, come to your own patch and you take a point off him. What's the problem?
Fair point. Connor, anybody that you want to give a shout out to in terms of performances that impressed?
Steve. That's it. Just Steve.
I'd like to add another one in there. Jayan Anthony, I thought was absolutely fantastic. He was left, right, centre. I liked his frustration. And I know sometimes people say, "Oh, calm down." I like that. He looked like he wanted to do something. He was on man-to-man. He was running around like an headless chicken, don't get me wrong, but he weren't being backed up many times. He had that soft foul put against him on, was it Ampadu? But you know, a lot of fans slate Anthony, but I'd like to put it right when it is right, and he was absolutely fantastic against Leeds for me.
He never ran out of energy either. Even
he
in
didn't.
Like the 80th minute, he was still chasing like it was the first 5. I was quite taken by that. I thought, he's put a shift in. It wasn't his best game as far as quality is concerned, but like you rightly say, I thought he put his heart and soul into that game.
It is.
All right. Let us know your thoughts on the Leeds game. Do you care as a Burnley fan whether you're the most entertaining or not? It's all just about promotion. Let us know, of course, if you're watching live, and let us know in the comments if you're watching this after the game. We'll get to the transfer window in a second. But Connor, Dan next. How do you see this four horse race going now? Then do you expect at some point Leeds will pull away and you'll be on the coattails? Do you suspect, given the results of the weekend, that we've finally nailed down which 2 are going up?
Yeah, I've said this for a long time, and to anybody who wants to listen to me, and even those who don't, I tell them anyway. I think Leeds will win it. I really do. Before everyone starts going negative, saying I'm a Burnley fan, you're supposed to back your own team, but I do think Leeds will win it. I think we'll go up second. We've seen Sheffield United, they've strengthened in the window and got hammered 3-0 at home by Hull. Sunderland, who they played Plymouth, who went up to their gaff and dropped points again. I just think that them two have got a mistake in and they've got a bad result in them. Can't see Leeds getting many more poor results, and I can't see anyone scoring against us because that means that Trafford loses his bet. So I just think the top two we watch on Monday night.
Okay. Premier League fixture next season then, Connor, yeah?
Definitely. Absolutely.
Can I just ask you about the Premier League? And I want to get your genuine thoughts on this. I'm not just raising this because I'm being a snide. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted that one first. Before Leicester beat Tottenham, this was the state of the Premier League table at the bottom. Jordan. For the second year in a row, the three that went up are very much looking like they're coming straight back down. When you look at that and look at the amount of red and points and the money that Ipswich has spent and other teams as well, is there any point going up?
It makes sense if they'd made a third league, so one that was in between. I mean that more on a serious note now than I do like a humorous one. It's getting ridiculous now. You can quite easily see the difference between any three teams that go up and any three teams that come back down. So it's already an unfairness to the other 21 in the league because you have the parachute payments, so they can quite considerably strengthen the squad to where they still can't, and they're sort of working off scraps of the rest of the money. So you're more likely for them three to go straight back up. But within saying that, you can't attract a type of player that can compete on the level of what the Premier League now is. All the investment from left, right, and centre. This is just my personal opinion, and I can talk to you all day on it. So I'll give you the short version. So I think with all the money that's being made, it doesn't trickle down far enough anymore. They like to pretend it does, so it makes everybody happy. I mean, look at Everton as a prime example. I think they've been shafted a little bit, and twice they were, and that was off the FA because they're not considered a Big Six. Now, if you are, you're going to get away with more things. Look at City; they're going to beat them charges. Let's have it right. So I think now it's not a pyramid scheme anymore. It's what kind of money you bring into the game. Liverpool, United, City, Chelsea, they're your cash cows. They're always going to be favoured upon, and everybody's got a middle ground. The only teams I think Palace maybe that can yo-yo between that middle ground, and who else can we? Wolves maybe, Bournemouth you can throw into that mix now. But I don't think there will ever be a set point to where them top three will go in and stay in, and if they do, it'll be nothing short of a miracle because of the pure money that is in the other 17 above them.
Yeah, it's a strong argument. Dan, do you agree?
Sadly, yes. I think he's got a fair point. That being said, the habit seems to be from these promoted teams is that they've got to adopt a style of play. Now, we fell victim to it last season in that we went up, we tried to take these teams on, play this attractive passing football, and we were getting hammered left, right, and centre. You looked at that picture you just put up there, and you looked at the goals against column 53, 48, and 47. They're shipping goals left, right, and centre. Now, I'm not saying Scotty P's a genius, but if we went up and you stop them going, and Sean Dyche wants to send, you stop them going in that end and you put them in that end. Well, if you stop him putting them in that end, that's half the battle. And then if you can try and, as best you can, finish 17th, then you get some more money. Then you get the time to invest in that better style of player, and then you can kick on from there. But that first season is so difficult. But to go up and try and compete, go toe for toe, I think those days are gone. You're going to get criticised. You're going to get told boring, negative football, anti-football. But you have to, in my opinion, you have to do it. Because you can't be halfway through the season and then ship 53 goals. You just can't do it.
Yeah. It doesn't
But I
help
also mention as well. Sorry, Mark. Can I also just mention as well, onto what Dan just said then, I think there's a formula into staying inside the Premier League and not one team has hit it yet. Everybody seems to go with Formula One, and that's formula is not a race car, but the first formula is we'll invest as much as we physically can, 100 million plus. We did it, Ipswich have done it, Southampton did it, Leicester have done it. Do you know, they put big money into the team, and that very rarely works. The only one we've ever seen go on off that formula, I'd say, would be Luton, and they tried to compact for that one season, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and it damn nearly worked. But there has to be a formula. I don't think anybody has the keys to that formula yet. I haven't seen it happen.
Wait, you don't have to look too far. We went up under Dyche.
Fair point.
We stayed up on a shoestring, and we went into Europe. We beat Aberdeen. We got success.
So is
But
that the formula then?
on.
Is it
That's
anti-football?
Just, don't get Dyche back in. I'm not advocating that. But what I'm saying is that
like 10 minutes
there is
ago.
Well, I quoted him, but I didn't say getting back in. There's method behind the madness. It is boring, turgid football. It is us against the world, backs against the wall, but it worked.
It didn't help because that was on Monday night. There was no Premier League game, so the whole Premier League fans are, of course, watching Burnley Leeds. And I mean, you've seen the responses. Like nobody wants Burnley in the Premier League now because, as one fan said, he's going to stink. Scott Parker's going to stink out at the Premier League with this style of football if they get there. Let us know what you think in the comments. Dominic's had to say thanks for this, Dominic. He says it's a results business and we're delivering results. Ask Tottenham fans if they prefer Champions League place over Angie's style of football at the minute. It'd be interesting. That's a really good point, actually.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you want entertaining football? Or are you happy watching this? I mean, Connor, you're not happy watching this. You indicated this yourself at the start. But was you sacrificing enjoyment for getting back to the Premier League?
Absolutely, any day. If it's finish 8th playing an attractive brand of football or park the bus and you finish second, I'm going to finish second all day long. And if that's the same in the Premier League, finish 16th with an awful style of football, finish bottom with company style, then I'm picking the 16th ugly football. I'm here for it. Honestly, I'm the only one here for it.
All right, I'm not winning this. I'm not winning this argument this week, so I'll let you. We'll move on. Coming still to come. These guys are picking their worst ever Burnley defender. So get ready in the chat to let us know who the worst ever centre backs you've ever seen for Burnley are. We need your help with that this week. Before we do that, of course we've got a weekend game to come, but we are also got the transfer window slamming shut now. Sheffield Wednesday United. Sorry, have been very busy signing Burton Diaz and Tom Cannon. Sunderland have brought in, of course, Lefay, who seem to play out of position at the moment. Let's have a look at how busy. Oh, that's the wrong one again. I'll get my buttons right in a minute. Let's have a look at how busy you've been. Since we last chatted, we've got John Joe Sell, Shelby's born. We've already spoken about Ashley Barnes. Oliver's son has come in with 3 million. Jordan, what do you make of that particular signing this month?
He looked like a good signing. He looks like a good player. He's like an unpolished diamond, maybe. Could you say that? I've only seen him in the team once, and that were a cup game. I've not seen him since, and I've not seen Shelby involved even on the subs bench. So I'm hoping it's one maybe for the future, but he could do with involving because it's looking to me like Connor maybe looking elsewhere.
Yeah. Swansea were very happy, Dan, with the I'm going to say his name wrong.
Delcroix.
Delcroix, yeah. So he's gone out there. Do you expect any more going out, Dan, before Monday?
I'm hopeful not. I think if they are, they're going to be fringe players. And you look at them, they've all been fringe players, apart from Ekdal, but he's been injured for ages. So I'm hopeful that we won't get rid of any more. There's certainly not been a lot of noise around them. Usually you hear a lot of what's going on, that people will be going out. There's a lot of interest in this player or that player. Now, at the beginning of the season, we signed extended contracts for a good few players, which kind of probably puts people off, certainly in this window. So I'm hopeful we'll keep the nucleus of the squad. There might be, a deadline day for one or the other. But yeah, I'm hopeful we'll keep hold of the squad. As regards to incomings, again, I can't see many more coming in. I think what we've got is what we've got. And I'll be honest, I think what we've got is probably good enough.
Yeah. Connor, do you concur with that, or is there any rumours you're hearing?
Not really much rumours I'm hearing at the minute, and although I did want experienced players like Barnes and Shelby, I am kind of hoping for that one young prodigy just to kind of put it all together. And we need a proper number 9, and I've been saying this from the start of the window. Fleming's not going to cut it up front, and even if that's bloody Tom Hopper from Colchester in League 2. Give me some sort of number 9. Honest to God, please.
Well, we've been linked to a player from Ajax, haven't we? A young 20-year-old lad from Ajax. Apparently, were at the game last night.
Take him.
And I don't want to excite everyone, right? But Karen Verzakli from BBC Sport.
I saw that tweet.
If she's annoying me, I will be sending angry letters. She said that Nathan Teller's on his way back now. If he is,
Oh my goodness!
I won't get sleep
That-
for the next week.
That can't be true. Why would it? I mean, don't get me wrong, brilliant, but he's been playing Champions League football.
Yeah, yeah, and well as well.
Yeah, but he ran an interview a month ago saying this Burnley is home for him. So,
Hey, I'd take him 6 months.
Well, if that happens, then you can I'd say give you the league now. I'll give you second place
thank
for
you.
sure.
Yeah.
Come on, Nathan, home time.
Make it a bit more exciting to watch as well, wouldn't it? If Teller comes back, right? Thanks for that. Monday the window shuts. So join us for that as we review just how good Burnley's business has been. Right. Over the last couple of weeks, then, if you've been watching, we have been doing the worst ever Burnley side. I pressed the wrong button again. There we go. Let's get rid of that on there. Last week, you cool lot put Patrick Bamford and Chris Elumo in up front. I think you called him a big baby. One of you did anyway, Patrick Bamford. So we've got Will Norris already in goal, and we are, of course, now looking at the back line. So suggestion, please. We've already had one from Dominic, who says Leon Court.
That is
one
shout.
Oh, that's one of mine,
shout.
Did you have Leon Court on your list? Yeah.
Yeah, I had him there.
Okay. Right. Should we go left back, right back first? Anyone open forum here? I'm not going to come to you one by one.
I'll go left back first because I've got one, and he's only just left the club. I couldn't stand the boy when he ran. I know that's nasty, but he annoyed me every time he touched the pitch because I thought he would die. He's Delcroix. I thought he was awful. Every time he used to touch the pitch in the Premier League, I sighed with anger. I'm just not a fan of his.
Oh, we can't have current players in the worst ever Burnley squad, can we?
But he would just die.
Okay. All right.
It's a bit harsh.
Yeah, help us out in the comments here, folks. If you can get a worse left back than Delcroix. Any right backs?
Stephen Reid.
Stephen Reid.
They're not bad players you're shouting out here.
Well, here's one. It's probably for the older generation, but there was a chap called Dean West going back probably 20 years. He was crap.
Oh, my dad spoke about it.
Yeah, and and the other one for left back, I had Lee Briscoe. If you remember him, he weren't very good. Again, I've gone older end because I thought you guys would take up newer players.
They take up current players. Right, come on. If you're watching live, we are currently talking about the worst ever Burnley back line. Help us out in the comments because we're struggling for left backs and right backs here. Any others you had on your list, fellas?
Richard Eckersley.
Oh yeah, he were crap, weren't he?
Only made about 100 and some appearances in his whole career, spanning across like 10 or 11 years.
He didn't make that many for us.
Can I just say as well, boy, you put me in the deep end here because I was listening back to the old episode today and you said managers last week, so you've caught me cold.
Oh, did I say managers?
Oh, he didn't. No, he said managers later on because you said, I've got them and all.
Did I? Oh,
we've got next week's episode. We're doing midfielders. Oh, here are. Tom's got one. There's a good one from Tom. Tom says Brian Easton. No, are we having that one?
If we're going centre halves, I've got one that I think we can all agree on.
Hit me with it.
Ben Gibson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Forgot
about him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in there with Bamford. In fact, lock him in centre half. Done. £15 million worth of dog shit. Sorry for swearing, but
live. Cheers for
that. Sorry, kids. Sorry, but
right. I think we've got a few there, haven't we? Leon Court, Brian Easton, Gibson, absolutely. We can definitely get a backline of that. Cheers for that, everyone. Next week, we are, of course, got lots to talk about. Of course, we've got the January Player of the Month to award next week, so get your thinking caps on. Oh, it's going to go to Steve, isn't it? You're just going to give it to. You should just give it to Steve now.
Yeah.
I mean, Sky Sports were really. You wouldn't have heard the commentary, but Sky Sports were really, really overdoing the love for those two at the back. I mean, to the point where you thought perhaps, trying to get them a Premier League deal in the next 5 days. So that's coming up next week. And the midfield as well. We need to talk about the worst ever midfield that we've seen as well. This week's game then, Dan, how do you see the weekend's game going before we finish?
Portsmouth, is it away? Yeah. Weirdly, I think it'll be an easier game. I think it'll be not akin to Plymouth, but I know Portsmouth are starting to hit a bit of form. They've had a couple of wins here and there, but I think we'll go there and we'll get something. And we've got 2 games now, Portsmouth and then Oxford. And then we've got a break where we'll play the second 11 in the Cup. But I think with the greatest of respect to Portsmouth, they'll prove me wrong. But again, I don't see him scoring. I think we'll get 2.
Okay. Jordan?
Right, come on. Let's go back to Plymouth times now. It's a similar sort of setup, but it's 5-0 and I've got the optimism, I've got the feeling. And do you know what? Honestly, I went into that Leeds game. I just need to give me head a wobble sometimes. But I remember it were a 4-0 deficit with a win, and I'm like, feeling a 4-0 tonight, you know.
Actually, Dominic's just reminded us Trafford does definitely deserve a shout, especially after those penalty saves at Sunderland. So
he's been fantastic.
We'll discuss that next week. Thanks, Dominic. Thank you very much, Tom, Dominic, for all your comments. Thank you, of course, for watching. Do drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so already, and share the content as well to those that haven't yet found us. It's 20 minutes of Burnley chat every single week. Cheers, Connor. Cheers, Dan. Cheers, Jordan. Enjoy your trip to the South Coast, and we'll see you in 7 days' time. Thank you for watching. Up the Clarets.
Up the Clarets.
I'm going to put a 0-0 bet on every Burnley game. Now, you watch me become a millionaire by the end of the season. See you later.
See you now.